ever feel like, you're just trying to keep up with the internet, especially when it comes to art and culture.
Yeah.
Like every other week, there's a new app or a new trend, and you're just like, wait,
Right.
what's happening?
Exactly.
So that's what we're going to deep dive into today.
Okay.
We're talking about HOCUSBOOKUS.
Okay.
It's a French organization.
Okay.
They're basically like, I don't know, like a cheat sheet for the digital world, you know?
Right, right.
Trying to make tech less intimidating, more accessible.
Definitely. And they're very good at it. I mean, they really do make it fun.
Yeah. Playful's a good word for it.
Yeah.
Because it's true. Technology can be overwhelming, especially when we're talking about museums, libraries, all this stuff that hasn't traditionally been super tech heavy.
Totally. It's like they're trying to catch up, but the internet's already like on its way to Mars or something.
Right. Okay. So I was poking on their website.
Yeah.
It's HOCUSBOOKUS.com if you want to check it out.
Okay.
And the first thing I thought was, wow, there's like a lot going on here.
Lots of different stuff.
It's like a very eclectic mix of content. Like they're not just about tech, but using it for like everything.
Right.
So they have AI training and social media management. But then they also have like digital books for kids.
It's interesting, right?
Yeah.
You think like, whoa, that's a weird mix, but it actually makes a lot of sense when you think about it, because you have these, think about museums, libraries.
Right.
These institutions, they need to figure out how to stay relevant, how to exist in this increasingly digital world. Right. And that's like HOCUSBOOKUS is showing how that can be done.
It's like they're future-proofing them or something.
Exactly. They're showing how these institutions can not just survive, but thrive in a world that's changing faster than, like we said, a TikTok trend.
Yeah, seriously. Okay, and that's something that, I mean, that affects all of us, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Like whether you're an artist and you're trying to get your work out there, you're a teacher using these tools in the classroom, or you're just someone who doesn't want to be left behind as the world changes. These are the skills that are becoming so valuable.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so let's get into like the really interesting stuff.
Yeah, let's dive in.
This is what got me hooked with HOCUSBOOKUS. They have a whole section called Formations Numérique, which is digital training.
Okay.
And some of the courses they offer are so cool.
Like what?
So, for example, they have training on using AI for productivity, which is like the hot topic these days.
Right. Everybody's talking about AI.
But what I thought was really cool is that they also cover AI for creative experimentation.
Oh, wow.
So using it for like art and music.
That's really interesting.
And then on top of that, they have social media training, but it's specifically focused on TikTok.
So they're really on the cutting edge.
It tells me that they're like on top of what's actually happening right now.
Absolutely. It's not like outdated social media stuff.
Exactly.
Which, let's be honest, so much of it is.
It is. It is.
Yeah. So that's really impressive.
Yeah. I was very impressed with that.
So it's not just like a general, here's social media. It's like, no, we're going to give you the specific tools you need for what's happening right now.
Exactly.
Which is really smart because, I mean, who knows what social media is going to look like in 2 years, right?
Yeah.
It's constantly changing.
That's true.
But what's really cool about HOCUSBOOKUS is that they emphasize customization.
Oh, okay.
So it's not like, a one-size-fits-all approach to digital training, right?
Right.
They work with individuals and organizations to really understand their specific needs.
Right.
Like, what are your goals? What are you trying to learn?
Right.
And then they tailor the training to fit that.
So they're not just like, here's a PowerPoint, everybody.
Exactly. And that's important. I mean, that's really important because it taps into this whole trend of personalized learning.
Right.
Which I think, a lot of people find much more engaging, more effective.
Well,
you're not just like being lectured at.
Right.
You're actively involved in a process.
Right. It's a journey
That is designed for you.
Yeah.
For your goals and what you're trying to accomplish.
Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about they have ateliers sur mesure and conferences, which basically means workshops and conferences.
Okay.
This is where they get like really hands-on.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so they have workshops on like stop motion animation.
Oh, wow.
Podcast meta.
I know, right?
Very meta.
And even like digital book creation.
It's like they're taking all these things that could seem intimidating.
Yeah.
All this digital stuff.
Right.
And just making it fun and accessible.
We love that.
You're not just learning about the tech, you're actually using it.
Right.
To create something new and tell a story and express yourself.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, it's learning by doing, which I think is so crucial for this kind of stuff.
Totally.
Because otherwise it's just theory, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, that's great, but show me.
Right.
Show me how I can use it.
Right.
And Hocus Pocus really does that.
Yeah, they do.
They bridge that gap between the theory and the practical,
Yeah.
which I think is so valuable.
Totally. And that's really, I think, like a really important thing here.
Yeah.
It's not enough to just like know about the technology. You have to like use it.
Right.
To really get it.
Absolutely. And you know what Hocus Pocus is doing really well is building that community around those tools.
Okay.
Because sometimes technology can be very isolating.
Yeah.
You know, you're sitting in front of your computer, you're by yourself.
Right.
But these workshops, these conferences, they bring people together.
Right. It's like that social element of it.
Exactly. And you get to like actually collaborate with other humans.
Yeah. And bounce ideas off each other.
Exactly.
And have those aha moments together.
Exactly. You know, you might be going to a conference on like digital parenting or how to manage screen time for your kids.
Right. Right. Or even like the ethics of AI, like all this stuff that
absolutely.
we should be talking about more.
These are conversations that we need to be having. It's not just about knowing how to use the tech. It's also about understanding its impact on us.
Right. Exactly. Okay. So another thing that I really liked about Hocus Pocus is like how transparent they are.
Okay.
They have this section on their website called No Alliés pour vous former, which basically means our allies in training you.
Okay.
And it's not like sponsors or anything.
Okay, got it.
It's literally them breaking down all the different tools that they use in their training.
I like it.
Some of them are like, you know, you'd expect.
Yeah.
Like Canva, Photoshop.
Right.
But then they had things like Midjourney, which is like an AI image generation tool.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever messed around with any of that stuff?
I have, and it's actually amazing what you can create with those.
Right.
Like the technology is so advanced.
Wild.
And it's a perfect example of how Hocus Pocus is staying ahead of the curve.
Yes.
They're not just teaching what's popular now.
Right.
They're also looking at what's next.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Reaching down the pipeline.
And they even have a whole section on their website about like veil, which is like, it means like monitoring.
Okay.
So they're like constantly monitoring trends.
Right. So they're staying on top of it.
In tech and education and culture.
Which is so important in today's world.
I know.
Because you can't just like, you know, learn one thing and then
just rest your laurels.
Yeah, and expect it to be relevant forever.
Exactly. Exactly.
Hocus Pocus gets that. You know, they're really in tune with how quickly things are changing.
They're adaptable, which is like so important in this world.
Absolutely. And you know what else I love about what we're talking about here?
What's that?
They're not being secretive about it.
Okay.
They're not gatekeeping all this knowledge.
Right.
A lot of these tools that they're talking about, they're freely available.
Yeah, they are.
You can go and experiment.
Like right now.
You can go explore on your own. You don't necessarily need to, like, you know, sign up for this big program.
Right.
You can just dip your toes in.
Yeah.
See what it's all about.
Totally.
And that's what I love about Hocus Pocus.
Okay.
Because it's not about, like, it's not about just consuming technology.
Yeah.
It's about understanding it, shaping it.
Right. Using it to create something new.
Yeah, you're not just a passive user.
Yeah.
You're like an active participant in this whole thing.
Exactly.
You know, this has got me thinking, like, as we're talking about Hocus Pocus.
What if
we took this approach, this, like, playful, accessible way of demystifying tech.
Yeah.
And, like, applied it to other stuff.
Now you're speaking my language.
Oh.
What if we could take that approach to, like, healthcare?
Yes.
To finance.
To government.
Like all this stuff that feels very, like,
intimidating,
closed off and scary in a way.
Yes.
Because imagine if we could use this, like Hocus Pocus magic, to make those things more transparent, more engaging.
More understandable for everyday people.
Yes.
Because, let's be honest, who actually understands, like, the intricacies of the healthcare system?
Right.
Or the financial markets?
Right.
It's like a whole other language.
It is. It is.
But what if we could break it down?
Yeah.
Make it fun, make it accessible.
Like, imagine if understanding your medical records was as easy as, like, scrolling through TikTok.
I love that.
Right.
Or, like, you know, learning a new language was as engaging as playing a video game.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Right. It's about taking those things that seem so complex.
Yeah.
And finding ways to make them
Lock 'em.
engaging and interesting for everybody.
Exactly. Like you're saying, hey, like, tech doesn't have to be this big, scary thing.
Right.
It can be fun.
Yeah.
And you can use it to, like, actually make a difference.
Absolutely. It's about, it gets at the heart of what we talk about with the digital divide.
Yeah.
It's not just about access.
Right.
It's about that literacy, that digital literacy.
Right.
Feeling empowered to actually shape the technology.
Yeah, to not be afraid of it.
Instead of being shaped by it.
Exactly, exactly. And that's, I think, what makes Hocus Pocus so fascinating.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about, like, okay, here are the hard skills.
Mm-hmm.
They're really fostering, like, a mindset.
Absolutely.
Of curiosity, of experimentation.
Yeah, being willing to make mistakes,
Yeah, totally, totally. And, like, being a lifelong learner, that's huge.
Oh, absolutely. And that mindset, it's contagious.
It is.
You start to, like, it makes you want to go out and explore and see how you can use these tools to solve problems, to connect with people, to express your own creativity.
Yes, and that's, like, I don't know, that's exciting to me.
It is exciting.
It's very exciting. Okay, so as we're wrapping up our deep dive into Hocus Pocus, I want to leave you with this. If they can do it with tech and art and culture, what other fields could use a little Hocus Pocus magic?
Oh, that's a good question. That's the question, isn't it?
Right.
I mean, imagine if we took that approach to, like, healthcare, education.
Just all these things that are, like, because those are fundamental needs.
Fundamental, yes.
Like, as humans, we need access to those things.
Yes.
And they're so often, like,
intimidating, closed off,
confusing, and you don't know who to ask. Imagine if it was as easy and fun and, like,
and engaging
as some of the stuff that Hocus Pocus is doing.
Yes.
Right.
It's about breaking down those barriers.
Yes.
And making that knowledge, those resources available to everyone.
Yes. It doesn't matter, like, your background.
Exactly.
What your, technical expertise is.
It shouldn't matter.
Everyone should have that opportunity.
And it all starts with that spark.
Yeah.
That spark of curiosity, that willingness to dive in.
To not be afraid to break things, to experiment.
Exactly.
So to our listeners out there,
we
challenge you, how could you embrace that Hocus Pocus spirit in your own life?
How can you use these tools to, like...
how can you use, like, technology or just, like, that way of thinking?
That mindset.
To unlock your own potential.
Yes.
Connect with others.
To make a difference.
Yeah, make the world a little bit of a better, brighter place.
A little bit more magical.
Yes, exactly. That's something to think about. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep the magic of discovery alive.
I love it.